Hey everyone, I am excited to bring you your first mini training for the inner circle. Now, there is lots and lots and lots to cover, lots to talk about, lots of things that we'll be going over the next 52 weeks. So, super excited to really just hone in on my best practices and share with you everything that I have done over the last few years, all the things that I've learned, my lessons, and things like that, so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. You can kind of just bypass that, take the quick route, and be very successful. So what I wanted to do for the first one was really start with how I am able to be super productive, super just, content rich, creating lots of stuff, feeling really, really good in my business, getting shit done on a regular basis. And I'm not talking about the busy work because a lot of times we do have to-do list and, there's a lot of things that we think we have to do in our business, but the reality is 9 times out of 10, half that stuff doesn't even matter. We're wasting our time on things that aren't really going to move our business forward. And you being in the inner circle, these are the things that I want to teach you. These are the shifts that I want you to make, is really how to really only be working on the right things in your business so that you have more time. We all got into this for some form of freedom, whether it's time freedom, money freedom, freedom to travel, freedom to do whatever we want. And what happens is we get bogged down with all this to-dos and things that we think we have to do, that we don't have any freedom at all. It's just like working a job, right? So what I want to talk about today is being productive, how to do that, how to really focus, how to get more done in less time so that it seems like you are just everywhere, but at the same time, you have tons and tons of free time. So I get, from people all the time, Jen, you're everywhere. You are, I always see your trainings. How do you produce so much content? How do you do all this stuff? And, I just laugh because I'm like, half the time I'm in bed until like 9 o'clock, or I'll just hang out. I take the weekends off. It took me a while to get to this, which is why, like I said, I want to kind of infuse some of this stuff with you guys so it doesn't take a while for you to actually get to this point in your business. You can have a really successful business without killing yourself. I think that, at least for the first year, what I did was, I wanted to work 40 hours a week. Because I figured, hey, I'm working 40 hours a week for somebody else. Why can't I work 40 hours a week for myself? So I started there, but now I probably work about 20. And I'm able to still get a lot done. So one of the major things that I learned was about day blocking. And some of you have probably heard me talk about this before, but I'm going to reiterate it because I think it's really important. It's a really important concept that it might not work for everybody, but I find that once I implement this with my clients, they are just so much more productive and it feels like they're getting so much more done. So what day blocking is really setting days aside to do certain things. So maybe, Mondays are like your writing and your creative days, and all you're doing on Mondays is writing newsletters and blogs and creating content. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are my client days, Tuesdays and Thursdays you're on the phone with clients. And that's all you do, right? So all you're going to do is coaching for that day. Because if you're switching in and out of coaching mode and then writing blogs and then marketing on social media, you get a lot less done because when you are switching back and forth in modes, you lose a lot of momentum. So day blocking, like I said, has been something that has completely changed my business. Really setting boundaries also with clients, saying, these are the only days that I work with clients. Working with clients also it's draining. It takes a lot of your energy, it takes a lot of your time, and it's just a completely different mindset and mode than creating things. So day blocking is definitely my number one tip for you guys to be productive. Number 2 is pay attention. Pay attention to your creative days and your creative times and what those are, so that as you're day blocking, hey, Mondays are kind of my chill days. I don't really like to do a lot of stuff on Mondays, but Tuesdays I wake up, I'm fired up, I love to write, I get really creative ideas at night. So really just pay attention to your times and your days so that you can create a schedule that works for you and plays to your strengths. A lot of times the reason why we don't feel like we're gaining a lot of traction in our business is because, number 1, we're doing the wrong things. Number 2, we're fighting against ourselves, and we are doing things that are not playing to our strengths. They just don't feel good. So that's actually my third tip, which is always do what feels good. If something in your business does not feel good, even if it's on your to-do list or something that you think that you have to do because you see like shiny object syndrome, or you see like all these courses that say you need to do a funnel, you need to do a webinar, do what feels good. It's the number one driver of revenue and success in a business, is to do what feels good. I call it the feel good philosophy. All my clients live by it. I live by it. And it really just makes a huge difference in how you feel in your business and how you show up. And, the first couple of years, you have this kind of like energetic hustle where you're going out there and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do all this stuff and it feels good. But after that first year and going into the second year, you're going to burn out if you don't do what feels good in your business, if you don't do what is playing to your strengths. So play to your strengths, do what feels good. Pay attention to the times where you're going to be really productive. Pay attention to the times where you're creative and you're in flow, and create your schedule around that. You're the boss. You can do whatever you want. You can arrange this business however it feels good to you. You make the rules. So getting more done really is going to be a catalyst of all of those things. It's going to be you just saying, you know what? This day, this hour, this time frame is when I'm working on my opt-in. So instead of going back and forth and, starting the opt-in on Monday and kind of going through it on Tuesday and then maybe finishing it up on Wednesday, saying, I have 2 hours on Monday from 12 to 2, and that's where I'm going to focus. I'm going to turn off all the distractions, and I'm going to get this thing done in 2 hours. You'll get so much more done. And look, it only took you 2 hours as opposed to taking you 3 days. So really focus to get more done. An app that I like to use is called the 30/30 app, 30/30. I know it's available on iPhone. I don't know if it's available on any other apps. Another one is the Pomodoro technique, or the tomato timer, where basically you give yourself a set amount of time that you are working on something. So it could be 25 minutes, 45 minutes, and you're kind of racing against the clock, which is why I like the 30/30 app. Because I'm like, oh my God, I have 30 minutes to get this done, or I have 45 minutes to get this done. So I know I'm not going to be distracted by other things because I'm so focused on completing that task. This is why I have so much time, but I also get a lot done because I'm not going back and forth. I'm not, starting something and then taking 3 days to finish it. Once I start on a task, it gets completed right away because I'm super focused. The next tip is the distractions. You've got to cut out the distractions. I know it's hard, especially being on social media all the time, seeing all the stuff, seeing the ads, seeing people's questions and wanting to contribute and wanting to ask. But it's another thing, for social media. Set your times and say, okay, I'm only going to do this from 8 to 8:30. I'm going to hop on social media. I'm going to answer questions in my group. I'm going to, scroll and offer advice or help, but don't make it an all day, everyday thing because it's just such the biggest distraction for you to actually get stuff done. And this is probably the biggest thing I see with a lot of new entrepreneurs is they're just wasting so much time on Facebook, right? And I know it's hard. I mean, I do it too. I'll catch myself and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? So a couple of things for Facebook is turn off your notifications. Whenever I have no notifications on my phone, so I actually have to go into the app in order to see if somebody commented or shared or did whatever. So that distraction is eliminated because it's not like in my face, like, hey, you got a notification. It only shows up when I actually log into the app. I have another Chrome app called Newsfeed Eradicator that when I log on from my desktop, I don't actually see the newsfeed at all. So I don't see anybody's stuff. I can see my notifications. I can see my favorites. I can do what I need to do, but there's no actual newsfeed that just pops up. So that is really, really awesome. I love that. Highly suggest that, especially with all the, just everyone having their opinions and the political stuff. Like, don't get distracted by that stuff. It's really, really important for you to focus in order to get more done. So those are my biggest tips for you guys. Day blocking, paying attention to your creative days and times and when you're most productive, when you're most creative, and infusing that into your schedule. Doing what feels good. I live by the feel good philosophy. Always do what feels good for you, what feels good in your business, what plays to your strengths. If something doesn't feel good, don't do it. Period. Right? get more done by just being super, super laser focused. There's different apps where you can use Pomodoro technique, tomato timer, or the 30-30 app. All really great things to kind of just put you in that mind frame of, I'm getting this thing done in the next X amount of minutes. Cut out distractions and turn off your notifications. This will help you so, so much with your productivity. So that is it for today's mini training. I really just wanted to start here because I know that it's going to be super easy for you guys to get distracted and to feel like you're not being productive. And there's going to be a lot of content coming your way. And I want to make sure that you guys are able to really ingest it and take advantage of it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.